What's going on? Welcome back to 710. So as you saw in the last video, we did a drive shaft safety loop for our aluminum drive shaft, and the exhaust was kind of janky. So yeah, we're gonna rectify that tonight. Let's jump on it. Maybe we are gonna fix this. Okay. We're gonna fix it. So if I move these clamps right here this way some, and clamp them back up when I get it where I need it, then I should be able to pound this thing off, and I can weld this seam up, because it doesn't matter if that comes off or not, right? It's freaking, you gotta pound it on here anyways. So if I do that, then I can weld this on here, and then we should be able to slide this thing on further, which is what it should be. It should go further forward, and then I can cut this pipe potentially to end up in the right spot with this. Here's what I'm trying to do, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. So I have this tube. If I take this resonator out and I put this pipe here that's supposed to line up with this pipe, there's like a big hole there. You can see it. It's a really big hole there. So that's why it leaks so bad. So if I put this resonator in here, then I can cut the pipe way further back to the appropriate length, and I can put my clamp back here, which is one straight through cut. So then instead of connecting way up here at this one, it'll connect way back here at the tail end of it, which should be fine for all intensive purposes. And then I just have a clamp way back there instead. So finally, we welded here. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can kind of see there. Where this kind of angles in here to the cat. This had a clamp on it before for God knows what reason, because when you have this clamp up here that goes to the long tube header, you can't slide that in with this piece that was also clamped on. So we just welded this whole entire thing. We welded this whole entire thing. And then the tips at the back always sat like weird like this. You know, one stuck out way further than the other, looked kind of like garbage, and just drove me nuts. So what we ended up doing was I had two resonators. You can see one here and one there. What I did was I put the resonators on the end of this mid pipe or H pipe or whatever you want to call it. And that allowed me to cut the over axle pipes and adjust those so the tips stick out roughly the same. I did it by eye, threw my finger up there, and okay, that's half an inch, okay, it's close enough. Before they were like an inch and a bit out. So if you look down from the top of the car, you know, one was sticking way out of the bumper, you could trip on it, the other one was kind of tucked in a little bit. So just try and make it a little better. So I ended up getting this thing back up in here. You can see that I cut this cross member here and here. And that was because our hanger here has to go into this hanger there, and it just kind of hit that. So it is what it is. I hit it with some black tractor paint for now. Whatever. When I do the trans and, you know, everything else that I want to do with this thing, then we'll go and send it out for powder and it'll be all pretty. But for now, it's under the car and deal with it. So we're going to go ahead, throw our clamps on the back from the tailpipes there that you can see hanging down, and try and slide those up into place. Now, those tailpipes, they also had a gap. If you have two pipes coming together like this, they had a gap kind of like that between them. And the previous owner was using these band clamps, and band clamps are great when the pipes touch. So if the two are touching like this, when they have a gap like this, they tend to leak right around like where the bolt goes there. They leak a lot. So these things used to leak a lot because there was like a 1/4 or 3/8 of an inch gap in there. So what I did was take the Sawzall, when I welded these resonators in place, I had them sitting up, I put the tailpipe in where I wanted it, tacked it all together, and then I took one Sawzall blade and I cut through it. So now we're only going to try and, you know, I'll slide the tailpipe in that little bit, whatever that is, 1/8 of an inch or whatever. But I mean, worst case scenario, that's all that we would be trying to bridge there, that little 1/8 of an inch gap, and it should seal. So we're going to throw these up on there. And what I want to do is make sure that the bolts are on the inside here, because I have a little bit more room around the gas tank while it's on the inside. So we're going to do that and fire it up, because I want to hear what it's going to sound like with these two extra resonators. So I'm just going to run to the back of the car and check and make sure everything's good before I go and tighten it all up and go from there. Okay, so last thing we need to do is plug in the 202 sensors and run that zip tie in the middle again to make sure that those stay up out of the way. And I think we're good. So we're going to pull our O2s back out. I tucked them up pretty good so we didn't cut them. 102 there. 10. You know what we should do? I was going to say, if we wrapped them around that drive shaft loop we put in, for sure they couldn't hit the ground. But I think we'll be okay. We'll still be able to zip tie them. I'm going to zip tie them together, and then I'm going to throw one around the drive shaft loop. Let's get that done, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, let's take the camera here real quick, and we'll go through it. So, here you go. and then over axle. So that's pretty much the exhaust now. And if I spin this way, you can see right up in there, the drive shaft safety loop is up in there, and that's it. So what we're gonna do is lower this thing down, we'll fire it up, and hear what it sounds like with that resonator in it, and then I think we're gonna pull the back seat and start doing the fuel pump. So do stuff. Still smoky.
I know.
Still, it's only on the bass tunes. Don't kill me yet. So there you go. It's as easy as that. You need a welder, sawzall, a grinder, and a couple spare mufflers that are left over from another project. It's perfect. That's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. And like always, if you want some shirts or whatever, let us know. And yeah, we're gonna keep the content coming. We're doing more videos now, so we're gonna do 2 videos a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. Make sure you tune in to see them. Have a good one.